or something better is waiting for me. I know that this or something better is the key that will set my heart free. I'm gonna let go of control. I'm gonna get out of my way. I know the universe conspires to bring me heaven today. I know that this or something better is waiting for me. I know that this or something better is the key that will set my heart free. I'm tired of playing it small, of doing what I think I should. The universe stands up to meet me, to claim my highest form of good. Well, I know that this or something better is waiting for me. I know that this or something better is the key that will set my heart free. I'm gonna say yes to my dreams. Let my imagination soar. I know I have gifts that I must use, and that is what I was put here for. I know that this or something better is waiting for me. I know that this or something better is the key that will set my heart free. Well, I know it, I claim it, I have it right now. I know it, I claim it, I have it right now. I know it, no, I have it right now. I know it, claim it, I have it right now. What you gonna do, what you gonna see? What you gonna do, what you gonna see? What you gonna do, what you wanna see? What you gonna do right now?
That's what happens when you have two gathering songs that you want, so you make one of them a prelude. And we picked the easier one for us to sing, so you're welcome. So, welcome to Unity of Palmyra, where centered in love, we embrace a positive path for spiritual living. We are an open and affirming community. We love you exactly as you are in all of your magnificent glory. A couple of thank yous before we even get into the service. Thank you for our amazing tech support team that was able to Zoom me in last Sunday so that I did not infect you. Yes, it is. I said to the council last week at our monthly meeting, true confessions, I had the improve your appearance pegged. It was just pegged, man, because I didn't want to project what I really looked like last Sunday morning onto you. So big thank you for that, and also a big thank you to our youth folks who did Sunday school for the first time in a long time, which just made my mommy grandma heart so happy. So. And then our final thank you, I want you all to look at that door. Do you see that door right there? Do you notice what's not over that door? Wires. So I need to thank Jan and Rena and Ken. They were here Friday evening for hours, all day yesterday. Rena did clean up. Thank you so much, honey, so I didn't have to come over and do that. And it's just amazing. When you go downstairs, what you'll notice is just this lovely crown molding around one of the beams. And you wouldn't know that all those wires are behind that crown molding. And it will be painted before we leave here today. So much, much to be grateful for within our beloved community. So let's just take a minute. And close our eyes. Take a nice, big, deep, grounding breath. And we breathe in peace of mind. We breathe in everything we have to be grateful for. We breathe in the stardust that we are made of. That stardust that enlivens us, that lights us up from the inside out. And we breathe out the values we hold most dear: love, compassion, acceptance, joy. We share those values with the world, as we are so committed to making a difference in that world. And as we continue our focus on gratitude this morning, we say thank you. Thank you for this time to come apart for a while, to remember the truth of who we are, that we are spiritual beings having an incredibly interesting human experience. We say thank you for whatever safe space you are in, whether you are here with us in the sanctuary this morning or you are listening to us through the ethers. We are delighted that you have joined us. And finally, we say thank you for one another, for this incredible, beloved community dedicated to being the change we wish to see in the world. And so it is. Amen. Let's please stand. Together, may the light we now kindle inspire us to use our powers to heal and not to hurt, to help and not to hinder, to bless and not to curse, to serve you, Divine Spirit. And now you get to sing. Yay!
I am a point of light in the light of God, endless with possibility. Yes, I can feel any darkness as I recall. I am a point of light in the light of God. Love so bright as God's light. Yes, I can feel any darkness as I recall. I am a point of light in the light of God. You are a point of light in the light of God, endless with possibility. Yes, you can feel any darkness and you recall. You are a point of light in the light of God. Love so bright as God's light. Yes, you can feel any darkness as I recall. You are a point of light in the light of God. We are a point of light in the light of God, endless with possibility. Yes, we can feel any darkness as I recall. We are a point of light in the light of God. Love so bright as God's light. Yes, we can feel any darkness as I recall. We are a point of light in the light of God.
Well done. Now let's share together in our vision. Centered in love, we embrace a positive path for spiritual living. And our mission, wherever we are, we provide a welcoming community that inspires and encourages all who gather here through the teaching, sharing, and practice of universal spiritual principles. And one of the ways we practice those principles is to honor wherever you are on your hugging journey. So if you want to hug, we'll bring it on in. If you're more comfortable with the handshake, we'll honor that. And if you want us to leave you completely alone, we totally understand. And we will respect whatever bubble you create about yourself. Have a great time.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Okay, sing it with us. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Miss Lana, can you be down here and ready for the daily word? I'm just glad that I'm not the only one who needs regular reminders about things. Yeah. Okay. A couple of announcements. Our prayer chaplains for today are Leslie and Sherry, and you can identify them with their beautiful prayer stools. They'll be holding sacred space for us throughout the service today, and they'll be available over here after the service for anyone who would like one-on-one prayer. I also want to do a preemptory, did I say that right? Ahead of time? Acknowledgement that of how many of our prayer chaplains are supporting the Eastern Region Conference this week, which starts tomorrow afternoon. I am incredibly grateful, and the Eastern Region Conference team is also very grateful. They're doing morning meditations for the attendees. They're holding sacred space in the prayer room at the hotel. It's just going to be a wonderful showing of our prayer team. And speaking of the Eastern Region Conference, how's that for a segue? Remember, we have our meal for the attendees on Tuesday night. We still do need some desserts, and the dessert sign-up is downstairs. So we're going to have about probably close to 50 people, so we do need a couple more desserts for the fellowship team to cut up and make look pretty for the attendees. So if you could sign up for that, that would be awesome. And then do remember, please, that everyone is invited to the Taze service that starts at 7 o'clock after the meal, and it is going to be beautiful, and I would really love for all of you to get to meet the Eastern region leaders. You're going to be with a room full of ministers and spiritual leaders and licensed teachers, and it's just a great opportunity for us to represent within the Eastern region. So 7 o'clock, and then afterwards, if the Taze service doesn't get you here, then make sure that you stay for desserts and coffee after the Taze service, because if you feed them, they will come. So a couple of save the dates. Membership Sunday is next Sunday. We will be joining some new members, so please do plan on coming to that. And as always, there will be cake. See previous note. And then just a quick important save the date. Our annual meeting this year is going to be on Sunday, October 20th. It'll be immediately following the service, as it always is. The council will be providing a meal, as they always do. If you are a voting member, start in the next week looking for your membership renewal form to come out, that you do need to fill out every year if you want to remain to stay a voting member. And I think that, and then here's a fun one because it has to do with Christmas. So Tammy Radcliffe, who is in charge of our fun team, is putting together a bus trip to Longwood Gardens for their Christmas display on Saturday, December 7th. So there is already a sign-up sheet downstairs for this, and the reason we need you to start signing up now is we won't know the price till we know how many people, because that will tell us the size of the bus that we need. So if you're absolutely sure that you're going to go, I cannot wait, because it's Christmas. So please do sign up, and then once we know the size of the bus that we're going to need, then we'll know what the price is. So, all right, I think that is it. Miss Lana, would you please read the daily word?
Today's word is healing. My thoughts, words, and actions affirm wholeness. Wholeness is my true nature. Even if I am facing a health challenge, divine life is active and in every cell of my body. Knowing this truth, I hold healing thoughts and speak life-affirming words, while making sure to give my body the rest, nourishment, and care that will help it to heal. I refuse to allow thoughts of sickness or weakness to grow in my consciousness. I seek support among friends and family who share my belief in wholeness. As I have been supported, I offer my support. I feel honored when I'm asked for healing prayer. I look beyond the appearance of illness, and with faith-filled vision, I behold and affirm the wholeness that is seeking to express more completely in the lives of those of whom I pray. When Jesus saw him lying there and knew that he had been there for a long time, he said to him, "Do you want to be made well?" From John 5:6.
I am home, my family is here. I feel loved by the ones I hold so dear. And when my family needs me, I promise to be there. And when I need my family, I'm lifted up in prayer.
So before we get into prayer time, I want to acknowledge what a fantastic job Gemma did with the Daily Word last week. Wasn't she wonderful? I was watching online, and I was sitting in the living room getting ready to zoom in, going, "Oh my gosh, Gemma, you did great!" So, love our kids. So this is our prayer time. This is when we consciously enter into an attitude of prayer. And I think that today's daily word is a perfect focus for us. So let's all take another nice big deep breath and come into that centered place, that place where we know that we are healed, whole, and healthy. Several members of our community are recovering from surgical procedures and illnesses, obviously. And so we surround one another with that healing, brilliant light of the divine. That light that flows through us as health and wholeness and vitality. So while we do not deny illness when it occurs, we do our best to deny its power over us. We see it as the body's message that perhaps it's time to rest. Perhaps it's time for overdue maintenance. Perhaps it's time to focus on the needs of our physical form, to engage in exquisite self-care. And we do so gratefully. Grateful for every cell in our body. As we remember the old song, every little cell in my body is healthy and happy and whole. And so we speak words of kindness to our body, as Unity's co-founder Myrtle Fillmore did as she healed herself from illness, by acknowledging the amazing healing capacity of our own bodies and recognizing that powerful connection of body, mind, and spirit. And so part of our healing process becomes that integration, noticing the quality of our thoughts, noticing the care we take of our physical form, and noticing the relationship we have with spirit. And so together we affirm health and wholeness and vitality for everyone in this room, for everyone beyond these walls, for everyone hearing this service today. We see you as whole and healthy and vital. We believe it and we claim it. And as always, we remember that together or apart, we are forever connected at the heart. And so it is. Namaste.
The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. You are beautiful. You are whole. You are beautiful. You are whole.
Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look, and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in a world of my creation. What we'll see will defy explanation. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do it. Want to change the world, there's nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare with pure imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly want to be. If you want to view magic lands, close your eyes and you will see one. Wanna be a dreamer, be one. Anytime you please, and please save me one. There is no place to go to compare with pure imagination. So go there to be free if you truly wish to be. If you want to view magic lands, close your eyes and you will see one. Want to be a dreamer, be one. Anytime you please, and please save me one. There is no place I know to compare with pure imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly want to be.
Thank you, honey. I get to take him home. Okay, so welcome back to the penultimate of our 12 powers that we have been exploring off and on throughout this year. The 12 powers, for those of you who may not be familiar, were 12 qualities or attributes that were discerned by Charles Fillmore, co-founder of the Unity Movement, that he believed were the absolute crystal qualities of the Christ consciousness. So you might say that he thought of these as Jesus's personal values, right? These were, for those of us who've done the standards of integrity exercise, this would be on Jesus's card, right? All of these powers like faith and strength and the power of power and imagination and divine order, and you can just see them all on the flags up there. Those are all of our 12 powers flags. So one of the powers is the power of imagination. And so that's the power we're going to be looking at today. And just as a quick heads up, we're going to finish up next week with Divine Order and Mary Poppins. I will give you a quick, the very first time I saw Mary Poppins was on the way over to Germany on the one of those big USS ship somethings, because my mother didn't fly. And so Dad flew over, and we met him at Bitburg Air Force Base after being a week on the big ship, and I saw Mary Poppins on the big ship. And then I had a Mary Poppins doll. So I know Becky's jealous. So, okay. All right, so back to imagination. According to Ella Pomeroy in her book, The Power of Soul, imagination is the ability to conceive, to draw together, to inspire the mind with a sense of newness. It is the mind's exercise in foreseeing results in material form. So faith is the power to believe, love is the power to be loving, strength is the power to persevere, wisdom is the power to choose, power is the power to act, and imagination is the power to see or to visualize. So imagination is a key element in what we call the creative process. So the creative process goes like this. If we perceive it, we can conceive it. If we can conceive it, we can believe it. And if we believe it, we can achieve it. So that in a nutshell is the creative process. So when we're exploring this particular power, we ask ourselves, what are we creating? Because whatever we're creating goes back to what we were conceiving. And then if we go back before that, what are we perceiving? In other words, what evidence are we gathering? What are we choosing to focus on in the physical world that is determining what we create? So, are we perceiving the worst or the best? Good job. The best. So it's the difference between having a can-do energy and a can't-do energy. Right? I'm not going to point out which is yours, honey. It's okay, although I do hear you groaning in the back of the church. So just this is a great example. So yesterday, when Jan and Rena and Ken were over here working on the wires, and I got to see Friday night the huge hole saws and the 4-foot long or 3-foot long drill bits that were a little intimidating, and I'm glad I didn't have to manage them, as they were poking holes going down from here and down to there, and I'm hearing, no, stop, and then no, I see the light, and no, keep. So they had it all figured out Friday night what they were going to do, and then I guess it was about 11:30 or 12 on Saturday. I'm at home working, and I get a call from Ken. Hey, honey, how's it going? Well, okay. So he said, well, we were drilling a hole, and we hit a wire. I'm like, okay. I immediately got out Jason's business card, our church electrician. And he said, well, but Jan thinks we can fix it. Because it was just a little, actually it just turned out it was just like a little thing. And sure enough, I get a text 20 minutes later, we fixed it. I still had Jason on speed dial, but that was that can-do energy. That was that we can visualize this. We can do this, right? And we had a backup. We had the electrician on speed dial. So it was that can-do. They perceived the best. They perceived that we could do this. And that really infiltrated this entire project, because initially we were thinking there's just no way to do this. But minds came together, thought outside the box, thought outside the floor, and figured it out. And not only figured it out, but made it look good, right? It's that can-do energy. So, Are we perceiving, this is where we go back to eye of the storm, folks, that people and situations are for us or against us? Right? Remember the mantra of the eye of the storm. Everything and everyone in our lives is for us in some way, shape, or form. Right? And sometimes it takes works to see it. So when we experience something in our lives, what we make that experience mean is going to impact what we conceive. And what we conceive, what we imagine, is going to determine what we create. So what if what we are perceiving and conceiving is a reflection of our true nature? What if it's a reflection of our values, of our belief, that we live in a benevolent universe, that everything is for us, even if in the moment it doesn't feel like it, or look like it, or smell like it? What if we believe? What would we be conceiving then? If we free our mind from limitations, if we free our mind from the way we think things should be, if we let ourselves really imagine what a more beautiful world would look like, what could it look like? So, by the way, that's the name of the 2-hour presentation that I am giving on Wednesday to my Eastern Region colleagues. How to create a more beautiful world. And I will give you a spoiler. It starts with what we're creating here, the beloved community. So well done. So the disciple who portrays imagination is Nathaniel Bartholomew, and he was assigned imagination. He was one of the first disciples of Jesus, and he was the first one who really recognized what Jesus was bringing. He was the first one that really saw that Jesus didn't think like the rest of them. He wasn't part of that imperial power system that so many of us have learned about through the Bible scholars. He saw the world differently, and he believed through the power of his imagination that the world could be different, that it could be free from oppression and bigotry and poverty, that it could be a world that works for everyone. You know, that used to be our vision for Unity Worldwide Ministries, creating a world that works for all. And I loved that vision. And I remember when we were creating it, I'm not even going to date myself by telling you how long ago I was working on that, but we had a really big discussion about the difference between a world that works for all and a world that works for everyone. What do you notice about the difference? A world that works for all or a world that works for everyone? All's more spacious and it's more inclusive. So when you hear the word everyone, who do you think of? Us, right? Humans, the human race. Believe it or not, we're not the only ones who live here. So when you hear a world that works for all, think of how all-encompassing that is. Think about wrapping our brains around that, you guys. Creating a more beautiful world for all. We need the power of imagination for that. So we also need to have a clear vision. We need to have something that we are focused on in order to use our power of imagination. So remember, it was a couple of months ago at a Hug meeting when we were talking about the lift, and we were, actually it must have been several months ago, and we were just kind of rolling into that whole program. And I remember, Elaine, you said at the end of the Hug meeting, she said, well, can we just stop and do a visualization of the lift? can we visualize ourselves going up and down in the lift? Can we visualize everyone being able to come into our sanctuary and going downstairs into fellowship and no one being excluded and everyone being welcome? And we did. And it was amazing. And the lift is happening. Slowly, but it's happening. Right? So we need to keep visualizing that. Remind me at the annual meeting and we'll do that again. Right? We need to think outside of the box instead of trying to make everything fit the way we've always done things. So here's the interesting thing. The universe responds to our energy. The universe responds to how we are actually showing up in the world much more than what we say about the world. Right? You all know that, right? That's the good news and the bad news. So we can talk a good game about what we want to create. But if we're not acting as if we are creating it, it's not going to happen. Because creating a more beautiful world is much more about what we say, and it's much more about what we do and how we show up. I've been inspired recently to pay more attention to my neighbors. We kind of live in a semi-rural, we have neighbors, but it's not like a neighborhood. You know, we all have pretty big lots, and they're all older homes, and some people have been there forever. My family has been in my home forever, but we've only been there for the last several years. And so Cassie and I have been working on putting together little gifts for our neighbors and just dropping them off. Like my one neighbor across the way, we love him because he helps us plow. But we love him anyway, even if he didn't. But he loves my homemade strawberry freezer jam. And we have a lot of tomatoes. So the other day, Cassie and I put together a bag of tomatoes and a spaghetti squash and some poblanos and a jar of homemade strawberry jelly. And we put it in a bag and we said to Mr. Roy from Cassie and Fifi. And we dropped it off on his thing. And I said, Cassie, we need to do that with some of the other neighbors that we don't know as well. And just drop it off to remind each other that we are neighbors, that we need to care for one another, that loving your neighbor as yourself is not some philosophical, feel-good quote to post on a wall. It takes action, and it's one of those actions that will create a more beautiful world. So this is basically a long-winded way of talking about our third principle, which is the law of mind action. Thoughts and feelings held in mind produce after their kind. So no matter what we say, we want our thoughts and our feelings, and what we're actually doing is what is going to produce. So what do we want to create? What do we want to produce? Bless you. So in the movie, this brings us to Willy Wonka. Bless you again, honey. Willy Wonka was the candy man. The world tastes good because the candy man thinks it should. So the movie opens with the children all, bless you again. Do you need a tissue? Okay. Anyway, they're all running out of their classroom into the shop to get their candy bars. And they ask the owner, how does Willy Wonka come up with all of these delectable candies? And he explains, it's because that's just what Willy Wonka does. It's who he is. He is the candy man. It's his passion and it's his vision to make the world a better place through chocolate and candy. I know, I love it. So if we can conceive it and believe it, we can achieve it. Willy Wonka knew this was true, and so did Charlie Bucket. Charlie Bucket was the little boy that is the kind of the star of the show. He believed that he was going to find a golden ticket. Remember, the whole premise of the search was Willy Wonka put golden tickets in, I think it was like 8 chocolate bars, and if you found a golden ticket, then you got to do a tour of the factory, a personal tour with your family. So he firmly believed that he was going to find one of these golden tickets. And of course, what was his mother and his family doing? No. That's right. I'm going to have Gemma do the synopsis of the movie. So yes, his mother was taking care of his grandparents who had not gotten out of bed for 20 years. But when Charlie shared his vision that he was going to find a golden ticket, all the adults in his life told him not to get his hopes up because the odds were huge and there was no way he was going to find a golden ticket. So guess what? Charlie found a golden ticket. Just like the words in the song, if you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. If there's anything you want to do, if you want to change the world, there's nothing to it. But in order to change it, we have to see it differently. Before we can achieve it, we have to perceive it differently. Kind of sounds like the kingdom of God is all around us, doesn't it? It's one of Jesus' biggest messages that we really messed up. The kingdom of God isn't out there somewhere or after we die. It's here right now. We just have to be willing to see it. The kingdom of God is all of our neighbors. All of them. Right? All of them. Okay. So one of the lines that I love in that song is, "We'll be free if we truly wish to be." Isn't that interesting? Wouldn't we all just assume that we'd want to be free? But what comes with freedom? Responsibility, right? If we want to be free. So do we really want to be free? And again, Star Trek episode about that. It's called Paradise Lost. I just watched it. It's a heartbreaker, man. It's a heartbreaker. So, Jesus came to teach us that the kingdom of God is all around us. Willy Wonka was teaching these children to look all around them and see a different world. To clear our vision, to become willing to see that we can create something differently, that we can be free if we truly wish to be. So if you remember from the movie, again, Charlie Bucket's 4 grandparents had spent the last 20 years in bed because the world was really a scary place. And oh, by the way, the floor was cold. So his mother brought them their food. Now, we don't really want to go into if they were really in bed for 20 years. This is willing suspension of disbelief, okay? So we're not going there. But Charlie had to bring a family member with him, and he wanted his grandfather to go with him. His grandfather had not moved from his bed for 20 years. And he decided that he was going to get up, out of bed, put his feet on the cold floor, and go with Charlie. So he finally decided to venture out. And he sings this beautiful song called "I've Got a Golden Ticket." And he said, "I never thought my life could be anything but catastrophe. But suddenly I begin to see a bit of good luck for me because I've got a golden ticket. I never had the chance to shine, never a happy song to sing, but suddenly half the world is mine. What an amazing thing. I've got a golden sun up in the sky." Grandpa thought he couldn't get out of bed. And what he didn't realize is that golden sun had been up in the sky for 20 years. He just never saw it. So what do we want to do? What do you want to do that you haven't been doing? Let's say that the bed is a metaphor. Where have we just stayed in bed and maybe even occasionally pulled the covers up over our head? Oh, I didn't realize that was going to rhyme. Right? What if the bed is a metaphor? Walt Disney, I think we all can agree, had an incredible imagination. He said, "Somehow I can't believe there are any heights that can't be scaled by a person who knows the secret of making dreams come true. This special secret, it seems to me, can be summarized in 4 C's. They are curiosity, confidence, courage, and constancy. And the greatest of these is confidence. When you believe a thing, believe it all the way, implicitly and unquestionably. So are we willing to be curious about how we perceive the world? Do we have a can-do or a can't-do? Right? How do we perceive the people in our lives? How do we perceive our own belief systems? Are we willing to have the courage, the confidence, and the constancy and the vision to change things that need to be changed? I personally think courage is the most important of those 4. So as he was taking the kids and their parents into the chocolate room, do you remember that chocolate river? Willy Wonka said, "In this room, all of my dreams become realities, and some of my realities become dreams." In other words, what he imagines becomes real. So think of a time when something you imagined became real, or something you dreamed about happened. What did it take? Did it take belief? Did it take some sweat? Did it take being constant or persistent? But that wasn't a C, so, right? And did it take a little courage? Did it take a little courage to step off that cliff? Remember when we did Faith and Indiana Jones stepped off that cliff? Right? You have the capacity to make what you imagine come true. We do not believe in predetermination in unity. We believe that we can change. We can change as people, and we can change as communities, and we can change as a world. So there's a wonderful piece from Jesus CEO, and it's she's talking about a clip from the film The Lawrence of Arabia. And she says, one of the most powerful scenes in the film, Lawrence of Arabia, depicts the 10-day death march that Lawrence's army made through the desert as the army staggered along nearly dead from dehydration. They suddenly spied an oasis and eagerly fell into the water. When Lawrence took a head count, he noticed that one of the camel boys was missing. The boy's camel was found riderless near the back of the camp. Lawrence immediately told several of his men, "We must go back and find him." But the men refused to venture back into the merciless furnace of sand. "Master," they pleaded, "it is Allah's will that the boy did not return with us. His fate was written by God, and we must not interfere." Lawrence angrily remounted a camel and headed back into the dunes. The men stood there shaking their heads. "Now we've lost him too," they said, as they returned to their rest. 2 days later, a shimmering image emerged from the heat wave. "It's Lawrence. He's found the boy." The soldiers shouted as they ran forward to assist him. Lawrence leaned over and handed them the unconscious boy. He looked at their faces and said, in a hoarse whisper, "Remember this. Nothing is written unless you write it." Nothing is written unless you or I write it. Tom Peters, author, lecturer, and consultant, reveals that 75% of the most recent and innovative inventions came from people outside the profession. Apple Computers, for example, was born in a kid's garage, a kid who left the big boys because they would not listen to him. Jesus was open to people and their ideas. Nothing is written unless you write it. So if we can perceive it and conceive it and believe it, we can achieve it. Nothing in Charlie's circumstances would have led him or his family to believe that they would have found a golden ticket and that eventually he would inherit the chocolate factory. And yet he did, because he was true to himself. He was an honest and loving child, and in the end, he didn't just inherit the factory. He was given a bigger vision, and that's your clip for the morning.
And you passed the test. You won!
Won what?
The jackpot, my dear sir, the grand and glorious jackpot.
The chocolate?
The chocolate, yes, the chocolate, but that's just the beginning. We have to get on, we have so much time and so little to do. Strike that, reverse it. This way, please. We'll take the Wonkavator. Step in, Charlie. Grandpa Joe, sir. This is the great glass Wonkavator.
It's an elevator.
It's a Wonkavator. An elevator can only go up and down, but the Wonkavator can go sideways and slantways and long ways and back ways and square ways and front ways and any other ways that you can think of. It can take you to any room in the whole factory just by pressing one of these buttons. Any of these buttons. Just press a button and zing! You're off. And up until now, I've pressed them all. Except one. This one. Go ahead, Charlie.
Me?
There it goes. Hold on tight. I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen. Faster, faster. If we don't pick up enough speed, we'll never get through.
Get through what?
Aha.
You mean we're going?
Up and out.
But this roof is made of glass. It'll shatter in 1,000 pieces. We'll be cut to ribbons.
Probably. Hold on, everybody. Here it comes.
You did it, Mr. Wonka. Congratulations.
Get up, take a look.
Grandpa, our town looks so pretty from up here.
Yeah, look over here, Charlie. I think I see our house.
Wow.
It really looks beautiful.
There's my school, Grandpa.
How did you like the chocolate factory, Charlie?
I think it's the most wonderful place in the whole world.
I'm very pleased to hear you say that, because I'm giving it to you. That's all right, isn't it?
You're giving Charlie the...
I can't go on forever, and I don't really want to try. So who can I trust to run the factory when I leave and take care of the Oompa Loompas for me? Not a grown-up. A grown-up would want to do everything his own way, not mine. That's why I decided a long time ago that I had to find a child. A very honest, loving child to whom I can tell all my most precious candy-making secrets.
And that's why you sent out the golden tickets.
That's right. So the factory's yours, Charlie. You can move in immediately.
And me?
Absolutely.
What happens to the
The
rest?
whole family. I want you to bring them all. But Charlie, don't forget what happened to the man who suddenly got everything he always wanted.
What happened?
He lived happily ever after.
Did you hear the one comment that Charlie made? He said, "Grandpa, look, the town looks so beautiful from up here." Right? Charlie was getting a different perspective. He was seeing the town differently. Right? When we use our power of imagination, we see things differently. We gain a new perspective. William Blake said, "What is now proved was once only imagined." Right? Everybody get out your cell phone. Right? I promise this will be my last Star Trek reference for the day. But, I mean, seriously, in 1960, whatever, when it came out and they had the flip phones, it was imaginary. And look now. Right? 66. Thank you, Charles. right? It was imaginary. Computers used to take a room this size. You now have more computing power in your smartphone than they had when they went to the moon. Right? Someone had to imagine that and believe it and think outside of the box. At one point, Willy said, "We are the music makers and we are the dreamers of dreams, and we get to choose what we're dreaming." We get to choose. It is not written until we write it, and we get to choose what we're creating. So Howard Thurman gets the last word. Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go do it. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. Amen? All right. Take it away, Ms. Jeannie.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. And no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one.
So let's breathe together. Let's breathe in those amazing words and that amazing vision and that incredible intention to create that world. That world that up until now we have only dreamed about. What would it take for us to make that dream a reality? What do we need to imagine? What thoughts and feelings do we need to hold in mind? What old beliefs do we need to let go of? What blinders do we need to take off? How can we gain a new perspective? We may not have a Wonka later, but we are capable of seeing things differently, of seeing beyond current circumstances, of actually creating the world we imagine, that more beautiful world that we all want to live in. So take a moment and in your own mind and heart visualize what that beautiful world would look like to you. What are you seeing? What world do you want to live in? And now, what change do we need to be in order for that to happen? Who do we need to be? What do we need to do? How powerful is our imagination?
Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one.
I know we don't usually applaud for the meditation song, but can we please? Oh, so this is the time where we get to say thank you, thank you, thank you for your consistent and generous giving to the work of this community. If this service doesn't convince you how important our work is and how important our imaginations are and how important our vision of a more beautiful world is, I don't know what would. So thank you for your financial gifts that support this work in this particular community. Thank you.
So if anybody out there might happen to want to sing along on this, you're absolutely welcome to do so. Who can take a sunrise?
Who could take a sunrise?
Sprinkle it with dew.
Sprinkle it with dew.
Cover it with chocolate and a miracle or two. The Candy Man.
The Candy Man.
The Candy Man can.
The Candy Man can.
The Candy Man can, 'cause he mixes it with love and makes the world taste good.
Makes the world taste good.
Who can take a rainbow?
Who can take a rainbow?
Wrap it in a sigh.
Wrap it in a sigh.
Soak it in the sun and make a groovy lemon pie. The Candy Man.
The Candy Man.
The Candy Man can.
The Candy Man can.
The Candy Man can, 'cause he mixes it with love and makes the world taste good.
Makes the world taste good.
The Candy Man makes everything he bakes satisfying and delicious. To talk about your wildest wishes, you can even eat the dishes. Well, who can take tomorrow?
Who can take tomorrow?
Dip it in a dream.
Dip it in a dream.
Separate the sorrow and collect up all the cream. The Candy Man.
The Candy Man.
The Candy Man can.
The Candy Man can.
The Candy Man can, 'cause he mixes it with love and makes the world taste good.
Makes the world taste good.
The Candy Man makes everything he bakes satisfying and delicious. Talk about your childhood wishes. You can even eat the dishes. Who can take tomorrow?
Who can take tomorrow?
Dip it in a dream.
Dip it in a dream.
Separate the sorrow and collect up all the cream. The Candy Man.
The Candy Man.
Oh, the Candy Man can.
The Candy Man can.
The Candy Man can, 'cause he mixes it with love and makes the world taste good.
Makes the world taste good.
The Candy can, 'cause he mixes it with love and makes the world taste good.
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 Let's stand and share in our unity blessing. Together, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in each and every one of you. Together, we extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Now let's sing the peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, united all are we.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And wherever God is, all is well. So can you imagine a world where all is well all the time? Come on, guys, seriously. I work with you and I work with you. Can we create a world that works for all by using all of our 12 powers? Yes! Oh, that's so much better. All right, have a wonderful week. Please join us downstairs for coffee and fellowship. And if you are part of the Taze service, we'll be back up here after we get a nosh and something to eat. And if you are helping to break down and help to start resetting holy grounds, Sherry is in charge. I tried to get her a whistle and a clipboard, but yeah. So after fellowship, everybody get something to eat before we get to work. Bye-bye.